Hi, today I'm with Aritha, so we can have an interesting conversation here. Hi Aritha, how are you?
Hi Nalaka, good to meet you.
Yeah,
and,
too.
Great, interesting work you've been doing. I just wanted to have a chat with you, especially as a life coach, on the present situation we have now in Sri Lanka, especially following the Easter Sunday tragedies, from a sort of social and personal psych point of view. I think one of the saddest things which has happened as a result of this tragedy is the breakdown of social and public trust.
Yes.
We were just talking a few minutes ago, we're here at a small cafe, but even for me to come inside this cafe, I get my bags checked.
Yes.
Earlier, you would just rock up anywhere and you trusted the people you were going to have a coffee with.
Yes.
But this trust has broken down.
Correct.
So what can we do as people and as individuals to either adjust to this new situation of not trusting our fellow citizens, or to actually regain that trust?
Yeah, Aritha, it's a very good question. Actually, we need to start building trust, because building trust is not on a country perspective, because country is too big for us. But we can start trust between people, between our loved ones, between the colleagues, between our peers at work, right? Because that trust will help us to regain the security situation as well as regain the prosperity. For both, we need trust. Actually, trust comes with, if I add something to you, trust starts with respect. Right? Because the first step for building trust is demonstrating respect. And again, I think, before this incident also, we had an issue in the country with demonstrating respect in various means to each other. So if we start rebuilding respect to each other, right, I think trust will slowly grow. So we can, I think, start in the personal level, and it will grow up to the next
So
level.
what kind of things do you think we can do as individuals to start showing respect and demonstrating respect? What little things you think can sort of build on to re-establishing trust in society?
Yes. I would say be colorblind.
Okay.
And
Religion blind as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. The be colorblind means, right? Color means, color can be a race, color can be a religion, colorblind can be sex, colorblind be like various other things, right? So be colorblind. Start respecting people as human beings, right? So no, actually, we as a culture, and probably as a country, due to some reason, we started, looking at, branding people with various aspects, right? But if we stop, we need to respect. That means we can always be proud of our religion. That is very important, right? I'd be proud of my religion, but I need to respect your religion. I have to be proud of my race, and I have to respect your race. So in doing that, when it cascaded down to the next level and to the next level and to the next level, at work, right, I need to proud of my job and respect your job. So those are the things. So again, as you asked, how do I do that? Little things. When we were kids at school, we were taught 4 magic words. I remember, right? When someone does some help to us, say thank you. Right? When I ask some help from someone, start with please. Right? And then say, excuse me, sorry, these words, right? So we can start these words not with, with our customers, but first with our close relationships. That is how we need to build trust, right? And for example, like, let's say, when the person who was checking the bag for you, right? If he starts with the word, can I please check your bag, right? And no bad emotions, right? You'll be very much cooperative.
Yeah.
So these little things that demonstrating respect will definitely start building trust.
Still on this topic, the last few days following the tragedies, the attacks, I've been, I've been going taxis, and whenever I've got a taxi driver who's Muslim, they've been sharing with me, really sad stories on how I'll be the first person who accepted their ride, and how everyone's cancelled on them. And sometimes they would call me in advance and say, "Sir, please don't cancel the ride because I'm Muslim." And I'm a Catholic. I'm a singular Catholic. I don't generally like to identify my religion or ethnicity in public. I come from a very mixed background still in my family, and I always assure the drivers I'm going with in a taxi, I don't bear any ill will or want any harm to happen to you, and neither do I blame your community for what happened. You have extremists everywhere. But clearly this problem is very pervasive. I mean, I've seen on social media people sharing things saying don't buy from Muslim shops, don't have Muslim taxi drivers, go with Muslim taxi drivers. So how do we sort of convince people not to think like that?
Okay, just to answer that question, Aritha, if we go back in the history, right? In this country, there is no race called Muslim, right? Actually, it's a religion. So you said you are a Catholic, I'm a Buddhist. And there are people who believe in Prophet Muhammad, Allah and Prophet Muhammad, and that's Islam, right? So with that, this is a religion. But in this country, right, when we look at us, it's our fellow citizens. But we can actually divide these fellow citizens into two groups. People who love this country and people who want to destroy this country. The people who want to destroy this country can be called as terrorists. Right? But these terrorists can fall into any race or any religion. So we need to understand that. Actually, we need to embrace the fellow citizens, as you said, right? And we shouldn't look at the faith they believe in. Any faith tells love, right? Any faith wants people to enhance their peace of mind, love, and all sorts of other things. So, what we need to do is, we need to think it in that angle, but we have to be very vigilant because let me tell in this side as well, because all these people who got involved in this recent attack, the recent problem, their faith was Islam. But 10 years ago, right, we had a similar situation in the country, again terrorists, and their race was Tamil. And they were again Hindus and Christians, right? So people looked at them in a different angle. But last 10 years, it was again slowing down, and people started connecting together, and now this has come. Right? So what I say is, adult community in this country, right? Always quickly start in this divide and think angle. But the young guys here, especially millennials, right? Those who are in their 20s, 30s, those are called as colorblind people, as I said, right? Can start thinking, okay, other than their faith or what they believe, they are like human beings like us. So with this mindset, again, when we demonstrate respect, right, and start working with them, go closer to them, right, can heal the issue. I think that's the best thing that we can do, because I have neighbors around me, right, again, Islam, Muslims, right. The first thing that I did soon after this issue happened, right, get connected with them and see, right, because when people are in fear, when people are terrified, right, they can do sometimes harm, right, even innocent guys, right, and we know the dog in our home, maybe the dog who loves everyone, But when the dog is in fear, he bites. So how can we avoid that is to love it, right? So the same thing that we can do at this moment. So that's what I said. When we start respecting, definitely we can start connecting, building trust. But we, at the same time, we need to be vigilant and identify the terrorist and who wants to destroy the country and get rid of them as well.
This sort of border, Nalaka, between trust and respect and sort of lack of societal trust we've got as a result of these tragedies. It's also created, as you pointed out, this climate of fear. You know, people are just afraid, and this climate of fear is causing a lot of anxiety, is causing depression. I was watching a video clip last night on school children who are actually not going out to play during the break. They're asking questions about death. They're afraid to leave their parents or to sleep alone because of the horrors of this tragedy. I mean, how do you address this sort of fear which has now come out of this tragedy?
Okay, let's break this into two groups, adults and children. When it comes to adult, this fear is natural. Like with a terrifying environment, the fear is natural. But in order to get rid of fear, there are a few things that we need to do. In order to get rid of fear, the first thing is we need to build self-confidence. That means we need to focus on our strengths rather than weaknesses. Strengths, right? First thing that we can do is we all have to do kind of a self-affirmation. We have heard that sports people are doing affirmations, right? Affirmation is thinking about good things. Right? Why am I good? Why am I a valuable and important person? Right? What can I do to my family? Right? Why I'm regarded as a good person? So these things will enhance the self-esteem because it's very practical. Because in order to get rid of fear, we need to think about the good things about us. Next, we have to start with positive self-talk rather than negative self-talk. Actually, positive self-talk, the importance of positive self-talk is, based on research, every individual talks at least 40 to 50,000 words with themselves every day, every 24 hours.
With themselves?
With themselves, 40 to 50,000 words.
Wow.
Right? So if that 40,000 words or majority of those words are negative, what happens, right? So your self-esteem goes down, confidence goes down, fear builds up. So we have to start with positive self-talk. Can-do attitude, yes attitude is important. Because the environment can be threatened. But simple example, when there is a traffic on the road, what do? We don't stay in the traffic, right? Our mind starts finding creative solutions, right? We start bypass the traffic of it. So the same thing we can do. We have to start creatively today, right? It's like traffic because now it's a traffic in the social environment, right? Everywhere it's come to stand still at a certain point. But we need to understand that we need to revert all these things back. So, in order to do that, positive self-talk is very much important. Can do. Yes, I will, right? I'm not postponing, I'm going for this and this and that. So, the third one is really important. Associate with people who are positive, or I would say people with self-confidence. Because, again, another research says, you become the average of 5 people whom you are associating most with. Right? So it's up to us to associate people with positive mindset for us to come back. Now I'm getting into the children. Now you see, if a child associate, right, people who talks negative, people who are not self-confident, what happens? Who are the people a child associate most with? The parents, siblings, right? So parents have to be positive in order to make children positive. Right? And their experiences, their environment. On television, sad to say, our media talks negative all the time, right? Talks bad all the time. Yes, they need to talk about the importance of security measures and all these things. How to telecast breaking news, but not negative things all the time. So, as a precaution, what we can do is we have to keep our children away from media.
Away from the media?
Away from the media in Sri Lanka, because media mostly like terrifying people, the way they express this, the news and stuff. And parents can be the spokespeople for children in a very positive way, because what we have to pass to them is they have to be vigilant. When they get out, they have to be vigilant. Right?
Yeah, you know, that's a very interesting perspective you put, where you're saying that parents should, you know, keep children away from media because of some of the negativity that's being portrayed in media.
Actually, if I add something to that, parents have to be decoders from media. Because, right? So decode means they need to absorb things and like pass it the way the positive message goes.
See, that's interesting, because like I feel that one of the most important life lessons taught me, and the advice given to me, was when I was 12. My Sinhala language teacher told me, Aritha, you should read the newspapers every day and watch news. And I really took it upon myself that every day I would read the daily newspapers, I would be watching news all the time. And it didn't make me someone who is afraid of society. It actually made me someone who's more positive about society and more engaging with society, because I was able to get a full overview of what was happening around myself in my country and also the world. So it gave me a fuller perspective on things.
Exactly.
Whereas I feel that sometimes if I just relied on my parents to be the sort of conduit through which the news is funneled to me, then I'll actually be only hearing the news from their perspective. And I would only be hearing what they wanted to share with me. Whereas this freedom I had to sort of read news, watch news, let me absorb everything on my own, and allowed me to form my own opinion. And the overall message from all of that was actually, you know, inclusivity, respect.
Exactly.
Not being afraid of people. You know, yes, there are negative articles everywhere too, but you also find the positive articles. And that actually helps you as an individual to see the debates of all sides, and then form a more middle path view.
Correct. Actually, that's the parents' responsibility. Even for me, actually, my parents were every day questioning whether you read the newspaper when we were small, right?
Yeah.
Because that day, everyone in the society took a responsibility, right? Because adults were looking after children, no matter they are parents or teachers or whoever.
Yeah.
Because when kids were on the road, everyone was, looking after them. But today, for some reason, it's no more there. Now, it's as parents, it's our role to raise the kids the way that they have to be.
So, you know, this whole topic we're discussing on respect, inclusivity, fear, self-acceptance, accepting others. This is, you know, I'm very keen and passionate about this issue. And one of the things I helped start a few years ago, and I helped run, was this education initiative called Think Equal, which I'm no longer part of it. And it was about introducing a new subject into schools, which will teach children social and emotional learning. So values such as empathy, respect, compassion, equality, and skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, you know, sitting around a table and learning to sort of discuss your issues.
Yes.
So, you know, what do you think of that kind of strategy for schools to adopt?
Great suggestion, but with a little change. Not as a subject. What I believe is in every subject, these things should be introduced as an action plan. Let's say even in the science class, people should learn how to respect how to work in a team, how to work in a group, or maybe in a mathematical class and in the arts class, like every class, these things should be introduced. The values should be introduced. So values should be the measuring tools in their grades as well. So when we create that, actually we had that when we were kids, because we both have a age difference.
Yeah.
When we were kids, right, that means about 40 years ago I'm talking about, right, 40 years ago, and we had that in school. Right? Because in everywhere, from the time that we entered to the school and from the time we leave the school, we were measured with our actions and values. So those things I think should be introduced again, and in that way this unity and building harmony can happen.